Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I'm Allie, the Development Officer here at KSPHQ, and you are in our fourth hour for our Adventures in Fundraising. I am so happy to see so many people tuning in and engaging with us and donating to this incredible cause for National Suicide Prevention Month. Thank you so much. Another thank you to our media sponsor, Kansas Public Radio. We just want to send them a huge thank you for being a great part of this community and being an awesome friend to us. Just remember, you can visit kansaspublicradio.org to see if you are in a KPR or KPR2 listening area. If you're outside one of those areas, please consider supporting your local public broadcasting station. Another huge thank you, shout out to all of the people that we've had donate to our fundraiser so far. We want to give a thank you to Foster, who has donated during our fundraiser, and to Karen from Gardner, Katrina from Olathe, and Michelle from Lawrence, who all have active fundraisers of their own on right now. Thank you, everybody, for your support during this fundraiser and before and after. We know that so many people value this cause and put up fundraisers for us, drop us donations throughout the year, and we want to thank everybody who's ever participated in that. As a reminder, you can donate to us during our fundraiser and after a variety of ways. You can go on Facebook, right here on Facebook. Our Facebook page has a big blue donate button on the right-hand side. You can go on our website, ksphq.org, and click the donate button. You can text KSPHQ to 44321, or you can call us today before 7 p.m. at 785-841-9900. And remember, if you or someone you know needs to talk because they're in a crisis, please visit our website and find the numbers where you can do that. We host a 24/7, 365 free and confidential service that will get you connected to a crisis counselor if you ever need to talk. And of course, all of that information will be posted in the description of this video, wherever you're watching, so you don't even need to memorize it. Now, for this hour, I want to have everybody watch and super enjoy a video from one of our volunteer counselors, Cam. Hi, so it sounds like you guys didn't get to hear the first part of Cam's video, so we're going to go back and play it again because it's awesome and we definitely want you to be able to hear it. Here it is again.
Hi, I'm Cam. I use they, them pronouns, and I am a recent graduate from the Summer 2020 training group. What brought me to HQ is a bunch of different things, thoughts and experiences that I've had personally, thinking about suicide as an option or self-harm as an option, and also realizing that I am surrounded in my work as a social worker by folks who are affected by this, by people in my work at a domestic and sexual violence agency, where some of the impacts of violence and trauma in people's lives really leaves suicide as such a prominent idea. And I wanted to feel empowered and knowledgeable about how I could help. Training was overwhelming at first when I realized the length that we're asking from volunteers. And then once I got in it, it felt like a supportive, like weekly meeting. Like some people go to church, some people have a group of friends they see to watch the football game every week. In many ways, training became that group for me. So we got to meet on Zoom the whole time, which we built up our stamina for that as well. And eventually it felt like we were just hanging out in the room together, sharing and talking about our own stories and our own relationship with suicide, self-harm, with each other, with what's good in our lives. It was a really sweet thing to do. And there was so much going on at the time, Black Lives Matter protests here in town, different unrest in the country. It felt so nice to have a group of folks that we could talk to honestly, openly every week and learn stuff that felt like we were contributing or we were getting ready to contribute and pay it forward. I've been a bachelor's level social worker since 2014. And I felt like in the training, just this summer, after doing work for several years, I learned the most practical skills to listen and talk with folks in a way that feels like we're creating and holding space for folks to go through what they're going through and just talk about it. Some of the skills, headquarters really drives home these certain listening skills that folks can use on the hotline. And I started using those everywhere in my life. People start asking, friends and folks who know I'm going through the training are like, are you doing the thing? And I'm like, absolutely, the thing works. So we talked about all sorts of feelings reflections, values reflections, different skills that we can use anywhere in your life, as well as kind of sussing out what our own values are and trying to really hone in on some empathy that we can have with folks who call the hotline. So maybe someone's calling and they're from rural Kansas and they had a totally different experience growing up than I did. And I want, as a supportive counselor, to be able to answer the phone and have a conversation with them that feels genuine, that doesn't feel robotic or scripted, and be able to connect with them. So there's a lot of teasing out our own values and our own thoughts or predictions how we would respond to certain issues or things that might come up on the phones, different things that might be scary at times to us, but really preparing us to feel empowered that we can answer those calls and we can handle them. And I have taken those calls, and I do feel like the training really prepared me to go through those calls and those conversations in a way that feels genuine, maybe a little sweaty at the time when I'm answering the phone. But ultimately, those calls end pretty well, and folks feel differently at the end of the call than they did at the beginning of the call. And I think that is just remember recently answering a call, and during training, one of the things I was most worried about was taking calls from minors who might be feeling suicidal at the time. And in my head, I'm like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Panic. And I answered the phone, and it was somebody who was in high school, and she was really struggling just with everything that's been going on, feeling like she can't talk to her parents about it, feeling really isolated because of the coronavirus. And she ended up talking about how she's really sensitive. And a lot of folks, friends, and different people in her life don't respond well to that. And they kind of tend towards telling her she's overreacting. And it was so beautiful to me to have that moment to talk to this young lady on the phone and say, hey, you know what? I think your feelings are valid. I think who you are as a person is absolutely beautiful and valid. And I know that right now is a tough time, and I don't want to minimize that at all. I also know that you called, you are so resourceful. You know yourself so well, and that you called me and we got to talk through this. And by the end of the call, we were laughing and joking around, and we got to joke around and end the call in such a different place than the way the call started. And that felt so supportive, and I think it felt really good to both of us. So I know for myself, I'm able to give my time. I was more than happy to go through the volunteer training and physically show up in the call room to answer calls. I know that's hard for other folks, or maybe it's an amount of time, or the topic is just so sensitive that some folks feel like they might come undone if they take too many of these calls. So we absolutely want to respect and acknowledge that folks can give in different ways. For me, maybe that's my time, but I really appreciate when folks like you can donate and provide that monetary support that keeps the lights on, keeps the building open, and allows people like me to come in and take these calls. Like I said, my name's Cam. I'm non-binary. I know that just by living and showing up every day. My life is an act of resistance. Thank you for watching and caring and listening, and I hope you can donate or contribute in some way.
I want to take a moment after that touching and insightful video from Cam to share a pretty serious fact. Someone dies of suicide every 16 hours in the state of Kansas. That means that during the course of this 2-day broadcast, 2 Kansans will have died by suicide. But you can make a difference in the lives of all Kansans by giving a donation to KSPHQ. You can give on Facebook, on our website. You can text KSPHQ to 44321, or you can give us a call, 785-841-9900, to show us and your community that you care about the lives of all Kansans. Please join me next hour for more touching stories and more ways to support the Kansas Suicide Prevention HQ. Thanks.